Hey, gorgeous! Welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast with Holly Wharton, which combines powerful strategies on how to upgrade your business mindset, along with practical business tips to grow your business. This podcast features solo shows with Holly and also interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. And now, here's your host, Holly Wharton.
Hello and welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast, episode 146. This is your host, Holly Wharton, and I'm back with another special episode with Joe Casey. Today we're going to talk about, should you really do it if it's not a hell yeah? And what the heck does that mean? So there's this idea going around in the business world that activities and actions and business tasks that aren't a hell yeah, like they don't feel amazing, you shouldn't do them because they're just not right for you. So we're going to explore a little bit about, is that true? Is that right? Is that wrong? What's going on there? We're going to talk a little bit about, should you only do business tasks if they're hell yeah? How to navigate your feelings around business actions. How to tell the difference between something that's not aligned and something that's just scary, because there's a big difference there and you need to know how to tell. The important questions that you need to ask yourself when running your business and dealing with this kind of stuff. And we also talk a little bit about, is it really okay to be a multi-passionate entrepreneur? Because there are so many things that are a hell yeah for so many of us, and a lot of us have multiple interests, and it can be challenging to build all of those things into business. Should you? Should you not? How should you deal with that? So we talk a little bit about those things in today's episode. Hope you enjoy it, and have a great day.
Hi everybody, welcome. This is Joe Casey. If you've tuned into the Work Happy Coaching Podcast, you are on the Work Happy Coaching Podcast. And if you've tuned into the Business Mindset with Holly Wharton podcast, you are on that. We are Holly Wharton and Joe Casey. We are, well, Holly, you are a business mindset coach, and I am a coach, mentor, business coach for coaches. And so this is a monthly podcast that we do where we dive into a subject that we just think is quite meaty and we want to have a good discussion about. How's your week been, Holly? Because you've been away recently, haven't you?
Yes. I was in the States for 3 weeks, up in Arizona and Hawaii, and just got back on Sunday. So I'm still kind of getting back into things. I was doing a little bit of work, but just kind of the bare minimum to get by. Saw a couple of clients on Skype, but really tried to take as much time off as possible. So this week has all been about readjusting to being back in the normal world.
And then for those of you who don't know, Holly is an American, but she lives in England.
Yes.
But I think that's really cool that you can have that flexibility built into your business. That is one of the good things about having your own business and particularly being able to do it online. You can see clients on Skype. You can, So I was traveling recently too, and I was at a business retreat in San Diego. So that was quite a big trip for me to go to, and I was able to kind of pre-schedule things like podcasts and blog posts, but also to pick things up with clients. I didn't actually do any sessions while I was over there because, frankly, the time difference of like 8 hours or 9 hours or something just messed with my head. I literally couldn't work out what the time difference would be. I had no idea what time it is most of the time.
There's a website for that.
yeah. There's an app for that. Yeah. So I didn't actually do any client calls, but I was able to keep in touch with people by email and things and maintain those relationships. And that is something that is really cool about having your own business and being able to design it the way that you want. And what we're going to talk about today is, I guess, one of those things that is quite often thrown into the mix about having your own business. And that is, you can just do what you want. Basically, if it's not a hell yeah, you're not going to do it. You don't have to do it. And it's one of these things that has somehow got legs in the online world. And we think it's fair to say we've got a fair bit to say about this. As usual.
Yes.
Okay. So, Holly, do you just do things in your business that make you jump out of bed every morning and go, hell yeah?
That is all I do. I don't do the stuff I don't like. I just do the stuff that's super fun and exciting. And if it's not fun and exciting, then, I just cross it off the list and pretend I, did it. I think building business includes lots of super fun stuff if you're doing the right thing. But it also includes stuff that maybe you you don't love doing, and you can outsource a lot of stuff. I know I outsource, a fair amount of stuff, but other things you kind of got to do yourself. So yeah, business, I think, is a mix of stuff that is a hell yeah and stuff that's like, not super excited about.
Yeah. And I kind of get where the whole concept is coming from, but I think anybody who is going into building their own business thinking that they can just focus on the stuff that they really enjoy, especially when they're starting out, is in for a bit of a rude awakening. Mm-hmm. Because I'm all for creating a business that is aligned with you, whether that be, your values, your beliefs, but also with your, your personality and your style and how you want to work and your lifestyle. This kind, let's not even go to the 4-hour work week type thing, but, the whole kind of thing that you can, therefore it will just feel fabulous all the time. And if it doesn't feel fabulous, that's a sign that you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, you're doing something wrong if it's not fabulous all the time.
Yeah, it's the whole kind of thing. Yeah, it should just be fun. And it's just such utter bullshit.
Do you know, I don't know. I mean, I obviously haven't gotten to this point in my business yet, but I wonder if... No, you know what? Not even. Because I was going to say, I wonder if you grow your business to this, $1 million level. Mm-hmm. So you're like Leonie Dawson or at that level or beyond. Mm-hmm. You've got a big team. You've got everyone doing their zone of genius. You've outsourced all this stuff. I kind of feel like there's still going to be stuff that it's not a hell yeah. Because what if someone is no longer working out for you and you've got to let go of them? That is not a hell yeah. It sucks to fire people. So yeah, I kind of feel like no matter where you are in your business, there's always going to be stuff that's not a hell yeah, but you got to do it anyway. You can't outsource someone to fire your people.
Yeah. I get this whole idea that one of the things that I love working with people on is helping them to find their zone of genius and so that they're working within it. And I think that is awesome. It makes the world so much easier. But what I also know is that starting and growing a business is a huge personal growth opportunity. In that, that phrase, oh, brilliant, another fucking personal growth opportunity. And growth is not comfortable. Growth is not always hell yeah. Quite often growth is hell no. And knowing the difference of the stuff that may feel really terrifying but you still need to do it. Or in the bigger picture, in the bigger scheme of things, you still need to do it. I think is really important because, there have been so many things that have really helped to grow my business in kind of great leaps that have been utterly petrifying, that have not felt good at all at the time. I was really glad that I did them. And, I think there is something about, is it in alignment for you or not? And also allowing you to make mistakes. But, there are a lot of things in my business that I kind of think, hell yeah, I want to potter in the garden. Hell yeah, I want to, fiddle with my website. Hell yeah, I want to, go to another conference and stuff like that. But they're not the things that have helped me to grow my business so far. The things that have helped me to grow my business very often come with a feeling of wanting to vomit a little bit. Yeah, true. It's true. In my mastermind group, where I mastermind with 2 other coaches, and we meet every single week, and we will regularly say, "Yeah," and I've got that feeling where I want to throw up a little bit in my mouth, and that has almost become shorthand for. So I know that this is something that I kind of need to do and I want to do, but I'm still really scared. It doesn't feel good though.
Yeah. Well, the question is though, how can you tell? Like, what are the signs that this is one of those things where I want to throw up a little, but it's a good thing and it's going to help my business? And how do you tell the things that you're just like, oh my God, I feel this sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach because this is totally not aligned with my business? It's so hard to distinguish between the two. And, I work a lot with the subconscious mindset, and your subconscious is trying to keep you safe. Yeah. So either way, it's going to be like, hell no, don't do that stuff. It doesn't feel good. So how do you tell the difference between the stuff that's like, oh my God, but good, and oh my God, but not aligned?
It's really difficult for me. The kind of the two tools that I go to is a kind of body awareness. So where in my body and how does this feel in my body and where is this feeling coming from? So there's a certain sensation that I get when something really doesn't feel aligned, like on a values level or on a, oh no, I don't, you know, I guess for a lot of it comes down to a kind of a values thing for me. And then also the other tool that I use, because one of my analogies that I use for coaches, what we're able to do is we're able to hold the mirror up to people so they can see their blind spots. So sometimes even when I'm in the grip of I really don't want to do this, that's why I have a coach. That's why I mastermind with people. That's why I talk it through with other people so they can give me different perspectives. And, you know, that's why, you know, I came and had a session with you and you helped me to unlock some of that stuff that was going on at this deeper subconscious level. But I do think having a way of navigating those feelings and exploring those feelings is really essential, because otherwise you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it can just be your mind trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think trying to answer my own question, I mean, I think because I work so much with subconscious mindset and I'm always looking at fears and blocks and limiting beliefs and all that crap that I, you know, work to clear out with myself and with other people, I think probably I would look at, you know, say, thinking back to something when I was working with a coach a few years ago, and she said, you know, between now and our next session, I'd like you to approach, you know, at least 5 joint venture partners and, you know, at least ask them if they would collaborate with you for promoting your new online course. And I was like, oh my God, I feel sick. This is horrible. And I waited until the absolute last minute before our next session to do it because I knew she was going to ask me about it. And I didn't want to say, no, I didn't do it. So I would say, thinking back to something like that, what I did was, okay, I feel sick and horrible about this. What's going on for me? What am I afraid of? Making a list of those fears. And then thinking, what would I rather have instead? How would I rather feel about this? And then making the mindset shifts around that. Like, I feel, you know, it's easy for me to do this, blah, blah, blah. Putting those beliefs in place and then, you know, looking at it. Like, is this something that feels bad because it's scary or because it's not aligned with me? And once I think I've cleared those fears and things, it makes it easier for me to kind of understand whether this is something that's working or not. And sometimes it's just trial and error. I mean, sometimes you just got to try something out. And then if it just really doesn't work or feel right, you can either tweak it or maybe it's just not right for you.
Yeah. I guess it kind of works on a number of levels. So first of all, is this action that you're wanting to do, does it make sense logically to do it?
Yeah. You
know, so it's, you know, so I work with coaches, but say I suddenly got an urge to, I don't know, go teach people how to make their painting and decorating businesses better. Which, you know,
you could do that.
You're laughing, but you know, sometimes these type of thoughts do pop into my head. So the first thing is, well, that actually doesn't make any logical sense for my business. Now, there's somebody that I know, and I hazard a guess that most of us will have somebody either in their life or somebody that they're aware of who never seems to be able to stick to anything. So I know that this person, and he started numerous different businesses, you know, but that's so diverse. Like, one was going to be cleaning bricks from building sites, so taking the old mortar off them. Then another one was doing, I think, memory boxes for people with Alzheimer's. And another one was going in and befriending people with mental health issues. And another one, he was going to be a handyman. Then another one, he was going to do kind of building advising, kind of I don't know, something they do with helping architects. And it was like, these all seem so random.
But were these all things that he had experience in, or were they just brand new things? He was like, I could do that.
Yeah, I could do that. And I guess that's an extreme, but I know as an entrepreneur, many entrepreneurs are very, very creative. You know, we've talked about MBTI and the certain, the Myers-Briggs type indicator, and the certain personality types who are very creative, very flexible, like new, like kind of that whole kind of creative process. And so for us, we see something new and go, oh, what can I do with that? I could do this, I could do that, I could do that. And within the online world, that has created this, I think, this mindset that I need to be doing all the things.
Well, there's that whole discussion about being multi-passionate entrepreneur.
Yes.
You have all these passions, you love them all. why should you have to choose? You can just do everything, and you can do everything, but should you really?
Not if you want to grow a solid business.
Yeah.
I people look at somebody like Danielle Laporte's somebody who's brought up a fair bit at this juncture in the conversation about, so she starts off doing business coaching and her background is PR, but she's also got, the design map, she did fire starter sessions, she's got tattoos, she does mala beads, she does all these kind of things. But she did that after she built this huge audience first, and she had that solid business first. When she was doing fire starter sessions, that's what she focused on. And I think once you've got that solid foundation, then you can diversify and add different verticals, as they're known in the business world. But what I see is people who are just starting out or just trying to gain some traction in the thing that they're doing, and they're trying to do all of that as well because it's like on the last episode we talked about, people feel like they should have a group program if they're a coach, or and that they should be doing an online course. And no, I say fill your practice first and then do that stuff,
Yeah, the thing is, if you've got a massive audience, you're obviously going to have different people that choose different offerings of, some people are going to want the one-to-one, some people are going to want the group. And so that works then. But if you try to do all that from the beginning, it's just there are too many options, and people are like, what the hell do I go with? Which of your 9 different coaching packages should I do? It's all so confusing.
Yeah. And I think it becomes confusing for the entrepreneur as well.
Yeah. And exhausting because you've got to market all this different stuff.
Yeah. And your message gets diluted. You feel really scattered. Your energy's really scattered. It's really difficult to know, well, which, message am I promoting? And I sometimes wonder that if we overcomplicate we expect too much from our businesses. We want them to be almost like reflections of our whole inner selves. And actually, no, this is a way of you serving in the world and making money.
And helping other people and making a difference and paying your bills.
Yeah. And the paying your bills and the making money bit, if you don't have those, you're not going to get to do all the other things. You're not going to get to the point where you can, say outsource and say, do you know what? I don't want to do my podcast editing and show notes anymore because I'm going to,
because I hate it.
Because I hate it too.
That is a prime example. I knew from the beginning I did not want to do the audio editing, so I outsourced that from the very beginning. But I did all my show notes myself. Then I got to the point where I was like, I can't stand this. I'm passing my show notes to the guy who does my audio editing, and he does that, and he does it brilliantly, and he's just absolutely fabulous. He gets it all done on time, and it happens when I'm sleeping, probably because he's in a very different time zone. So, it's fantastic. But you pick and choose what you're going to outsource and what you can outsource when, but it still gets done somehow. So I think going back to what we were talking about at the beginning about should you only do stuff that's a hell yeah? Yes, you can outsource stuff, or not, but it still needs to get done. Yeah. Like, even the stuff that's not a hell yeah needs to get done if it's aligned with you and your business. So someone needs to be doing it. Yeah.
And the other thing is you may not have the resources to outsource straight away.
No. Most people do.
Most people don't. So I did my own podcast editing. I did my own show notes for a long time, and now I'm lucky I make enough money that I can outsource those things, although actually I still do my own editing because I find it easier to I don't mind the editing bit, but some of the things you just it's like doing your taxes. I hire someone to do my taxes. He's called an accountant, but I still have to get the receipts together and say what I've spent and do all that stuff. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. My husband jokes that he's going to move out with the kids for a couple of weeks before tax time because I am so grumpy when I'm doing it, but it needs doing. The government isn't that. Oh, you didn't want to do it? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Hey, HMRC, I just didn't feel like it. It was not a hell yeah. It was a hell no. So, no taxes this year.
Exactly. Although if we were Google, we could do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's not open that kind of worms.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about growth then, because there is something about you needing to grow and develop. And, I mean, this is your whole area of expertise, Holly. The fact that, the way that we can hold ourselves back and try and keep ourselves safe, even when there isn't actually the best thing for us. And there isn't actually, a real physical danger out there. So what are some of the things that you see coming up for people, and how does this need for safety kind of manifest itself? Because I know it's a bit of a tricky bugger.
Well, that's an excellent question. And I just did a webinar earlier today on that topic.
I genuinely didn't know that, but obviously...
Perfect timing.
Yes.
So I did this webinar on 7 business blocks that hold back most entrepreneurs and how to release them. So there's so many different things that you can kind of clump up into different categories, but it all comes down to stuff that's preventing you from taking action. And when you make those mindset shifts at the subconscious level, it makes it so much easier to take the action on the stuff that's not a hell yeah. So looking at some of these categories, change and growth is one of them, because a lot of people can be really afraid of change and growth in their business. So it's like, on one hand, you want your business to grow, but on the other hand, you don't know what that growth looks like yet. So it's really, really scary. And of course, your subconscious is going to be like, well, then let's stay where we are because it's nice and safe here in the comfort zone. So that's one of those things that can hold you back. Success is a big thing. Lots of people have fear of failure, but a lot of people have fears of success because same thing. How's my life going to change if I'm successful? Am I going to lose my friends? Are they going to think I'm a bitch? Are people going to start unfriending me on Facebook because they don't like the way my lifestyle looks now that it's all bright and shiny? Are people going to stop talking to me? What's going to happen with my family? Lots of stuff. It's the unknown. Money stuff, that's a whole can of worms that is a whole other conversation.
Yeah, we need a whole episode on that one.
Exactly. Marketing and sales. There's the practical side of marketing and sales, the really solid business knowledge that you need, but there's also the mindset stuff around marketing and sales. Are you afraid of putting yourself out there? Are you afraid of making yourself visible with your business? Are you afraid of having sales conversation?
That's one that, you and I have talked about that even privately. You were saying that for women entrepreneurs particularly, that one is so prevalent.
Yeah. Some people just want clients to magically just send money to their PayPal accounts, but, they don't want to do the work to get the clients because it's so scary. It's so scary to approach people. What if they say no? And of course, if someone's not your ideal client, you want them to say no, because if you're not a good fit, then you're not going to work with them. But just hearing, that rejection can be such a massive fear that people just avoid everything so that they can avoid hearing that word, no. Yeah, confidence, self-trust, having trust that you can build a business and that you can make solid business decisions, and having confidence in your skills and, valuing your knowledge and your skills and believing that you are worthy of creating a successful business. So much stuff that women have around confidence and self-worth. Massive.
Yeah. And so I guess that if somebody's experiencing those, and it's not stuff that we're always consciously aware of, I know that you and I have talked about it a number of times, but I know that for me, I was really holding myself back. In fact, I would have intake sessions with people and they go, yeah, I really think I want to do this. And I go, well, take the weekend to think about it. And I would always be pushing them away. And I couldn't work out for the longest time why I was doing that. And I realized that, for me, I had loads of hang-ups around what it would mean if I was earning a certain amount of money and charging a certain amount of money. But I wasn't kind of consciously aware of that. Yeah. So the thought of, setting myself a target to say do 20 intake sessions in the next month, which is something that I regularly do now, was just absolutely made me want to throw up on my shoes, not just throw up in my mouth a little bit. It really was. So that was definitely a hell no for me.
And so you don't do the stuff that the actions that you need to take to get those 20 or 30 intake sessions a month, because then that will keep you from having those horrible conversations that might lead to clients.
Exactly.
It all boils down to your mind trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
And protect you from those scary situations.
Yeah. And, the mind is benevolent. So it is, it's trying to, it's trying to do a good thing. Just in a really kind of messed up way, in a way that's not helpful.
Exactly.
So that's why this whole kind of hell yeah thing just doesn't sit right with me somehow. But at the same time, there are some things that I just think, oh my God, I love doing this. That is totally within my zone of genius. It feels so good. But that's a different sensation than the stuff which is, I'm just going to carry on doing this thing, or maybe I'm definitely different from the stuff that I avoided doing for a long time.
Well, and I think that's interesting what you said about the zone of genius, because I think when we start out doing everything in our business, and we're not yet at the point where we can outsource the stuff that's not in our zone of genius, it can be hard to figure out what our zone of genius is because we're doing so much stuff in our business.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do all of my own web stuff. And I love my website. I do. And I found that after a while, I was quite pleased. You know, there was something quite nice about the fact that I've learned all this thing, you know, I've learned how to do this. But actually, it would have been a lot quicker, a lot more efficient to get somebody else to do it. And actually, if I'd looked at the bigger picture, maybe that's something about it. It's that standing up and almost taking the CEO view of your business. And kind of go, okay, so where do I need to be? You know, I need to get from A to B to C, which, you know, in my case was a coaching practice. I need to fill my coaching practice. Does me spending the next 2 months teaching myself how to use WordPress and build a website get me there? It did sort of, but actually it would have been so much more efficient if I go, okay, I'm going to hire someone to build me the cheapest, simplest website possible. Or even people, especially those who are coaches, not have a website immediately and just get out there and start having some coaching conversations.
Yeah.
Because in hindsight, that would have been far more efficient, far quicker. So maybe there's something about also being able to take the CEO approach. I sometimes have this thing where I have this almost like personas I put on different hats. I'm currently touching myself on the head. I don't know why. I know no one can see me right now. So I go into CEO mode because there are times when I need to go into kind of worker bee mode and I just need to get the stuff done. And there are times when I need to go into creative visionary mode. And times when I need to go into planner mode. But I think it's really important to be able to, on a regular basis, take that helicopter view of your business. And that's what coaches are so good at helping you to do.
Exactly.
To step back and go, is that bright, shiny object there?
Yeah, that is such a good point. The word coach popped into my head before it popped out of my mouth. And I was like, because next week I have another appointment with my coach and I'm so excited because I feel like certain things aren't working in my business and I need to adjust my plan. And I'm so excited to talk to her. So yeah, I'm super excited. So yeah, coaches can just help you pick that stuff out of your brain that you can't see because you're stuck in your head all day.
Yeah.
You just don't have that perspective that other people have.
Absolutely. And if you haven't got a coach just yet, you really, I mean, I know we would say that because we are coaches, but really investing in myself and investing in my coach through investing in my coach. So let me rephrase that. Hiring my coach was the biggest thing that I'd done to invest in myself and my business.
Yeah.
And so there's something around when you first do that about, it almost says to yourself psychologically, I'm taking this shit seriously now. I'm not playing at this because there's money on the line here. But also being able to have that external helicopter view, who can say, okay, where do you want to be in 5 years time, in 12 months time, in 6 months time? Let's plot your way of getting there. Where is your zone of genius? Where are you going to be able to really add value? What's not helping you here? And whilst I guess the hell yeah approach is very emotions led, and whilst I am a total, airy fairy, woolly, feely, I feel all the feelings type person, I also know that that's not always going to get me to the best place. So you need to, it's like the yin and the yang of business. I really think you need to use your intuition and your emotion and your spirit and whatever however that makes sense for you. But you also need to use that logical, strategic part of your brain. And that's what coaches are so good at helping you to do.
Yes.
We all have really crappy days. Yesterday, I felt horrible. I felt dreadful. I was really in a place of fear. I was about to just take a leap in my business, another one, because they never go away. And I was really feeling crappy and fearful. And when I'm in that state, my optimism drains away. There's nothing that particularly feels like a hell yeah, other than crawling into bed and eating some biscuits. Yes. But that's not, you can't show up like that. So that's why having a coach and having, masterminds around you can help you on those days, because your perspective goes wonky.
Yeah. Do you know, that's interesting, because I had one of those days yesterday too.
Oh, really?
And I was, horrible. It was just everything. Like, I feel like I'm at a place in my business where things are about to change. I'm ready to let go of stuff, but I'm still not seeing what the changes are. And so I'm at that like horrible limbo period where things just feel icky, but I still can't see the path ahead of me. And my husband was like, but you have an appointment with your coach next Thursday. Can't you just like coast between now and then? And then, figure it out next week with her. And I was like, yeah, but in the meantime, it still feels yucky.
Yeah. I don't know. Has he met you before? Coast? Coast?
That probably wasn't the word that he used, but you know what I mean? Kind of like chill with it. And, Yeah. So, I think that's a very, very important point, with that hell yeah. You've got to have the emotion in your business and the intuition and the logic, and you need kind of that whole trifecta of stuff to make it happen. And having a coach really, really helps make that happen. And I think, especially for people who are listening who have trained as coaches, I mean, when I was in my training program, we did these coaching triangles where we had to coach each other as part of our practice, but also to help us get our business going. So I think very, very important to have as early on as you can, and also to find the right coach for you, because I've definitely had coaches that were not a good fit for me.
Yeah, I think we've all probably experienced that if you've been in the coaching world. And there are so many different styles, and it is really important to be able to find the right fit, and also work out what you want from a coach.
Yes. If you don't know what you want, then you can't tell your coach what you want.
Exactly. So, I guess now that I'm further along in my business, there are certainly more. I guess what the difference is it feels less haphazard, the hell yeah thing. So I know. So like for me, when I'm coaching one-on-one, love it. When I'm in front of a group of people running a workshop, love it. When I've got kind of space in my day to just be pondering and thinking, they're all hell yes for me. But I still do the other stuff. And if I just keep doing those things, then I'm not going to get to where I want to get to, which is, having a much bigger business with a much, higher turnover and income, because that means I'll be able to do more things in the world. And I have this real kind of drive behind me to be able to, travel more and give more back and work with more people and all of that stuff. So that's the thing that kind of pulls me through the times when it feels like, oh no.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you think that about covers it? Have you got anything else that you want to?
No, I think we've pretty much explored this. If anyone has any questions or comments,
yes,
please let us know. But I feel like we've kind of explored that, because it's an important topic, because so many people out there saying, if once you find the job of your dreams or the business of your dreams, that everything is just like, woohoo. And, it's not. There's ups and downs with everything.
Absolutely. And, as somebody who, wearing my other hat, for a long time, I was a coach that dealt with resiliency. And, one of the things about resilient people is they recognize that it's not all sunshine and lollipops all the time, nor is happiness measured by that. So if a lot of the things that make people feel, I suppose, disproportionately unhappy is the expectation that things are going to be just perfect and brilliant, and then they're really disappointed when they're not. And I think that's really true. There's certainly a thread within the online business, and that, you know, it's all gonna be fabulous and it's all 6 figures and it's crushing it every day, and that's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who are thinking, you know, I feel like I'm doing a lot of stuff that isn't a hell yeah right now, and I feel like I'm, you know, this is taking forever, and I feel like I'm not in the place, and that's normal. That's how it goes. And I guess it's a bit like a lot of this stuff that we regularly rail against, you know, the whole kind of 6 figures in 5 minutes and, you know, my perfect life and all. It's unrealistic, and it's leaving people feeling like they're failing in some way because they're not getting that.
Exactly, because it takes time, you know, and everyone's got their own kind of time frame for doing things and building their business. And I think sometimes the more of the icky stuff you do, the faster you'll get there.
Yeah. And so, you know, no mud, no lotus. It's one of my favourite phrases. And I think, you know, the tough times in your business are the stuff where you are having to DIY it because you know, you haven't got the funds, or the times when you're running your business alongside your day job because, you know, you've not yet got to a sustainable level where you can jettison the day job. All of that is normal and is worth it, so long as you can take that strategic view and think, okay, so how are the actions that I'm taking now taking me towards where I want to be? Otherwise, you're just doing busy work.
Exactly. And it's so easy to get caught in that trap of busy work.
Yeah. I shudder to think of the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours I've spent tinkering with things like the top bar of my website, or you know, and it's just stuff that's filling up time so that I can avoid doing the things that are really scaring me.
Yeah, exactly. And you've learned a new skill at the end of it, but did you really need to take that much time to, you know? Yeah, exactly.
So, lovely listeners, we would really like your feedback and your questions as usual. So you can contact Jo at jocasey.com, or
you can contact me at holly@hollywharton.com.
Fabulous. Holly Wharton, thank you so much. It's always a delight to talk to you.
You too.
And we will talk to you again next month.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye. Thank you for listening, and remember to visit hollywharton.com/146 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Business Mindset Podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. You can find more information about today's episode, including links for topics that were discussed, at hollywharton.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave a quick review of this podcast. It just takes a minute. Thank you.